It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy Chips and Salsa.
People love Chips and Salsa.
Welcome to your Chips and Salsa Show. This is Don Jorge Alacran from Phoenix, Arizona. Today, guess what? It's election day, November the 7th, everybody. I hope you put your ballots in. I'm going to read a little bit of election facts here in a second, but I hope all your chipsters out there put your ballots in early. If not, you can go today and drop it off at a bunch of sites. And I think there's 31 sites, 35 sites. And I'll read a little bit about it, so we'll get that out of the way. Today is election day, and all ballots must be received by Maricopa County Elections by 7 p.m., people. If you haven't already mailed back your ballot, you have the option to drop it off at the secure ballot drop-off box at a voting location. Drop it off at one of the 24-hour standard drop boxes, or vote a replacement ballot in person. To find a voting location and in-person ballot replacement site, visit locationsmaricopa.vote. And did you know Maricopa County voters can track their ballots every step of the way? Text JOIN to 628-683 for updates right to your phone, or visit online, or at beballotready.vote. And they can see everything about their ballot. They'll be if they say talk to you about curing signatures, Maricopa County checks the signature on your green affidavit envelope against all known signatures in your official voter registration file. Pass affidavit signatures. Our signature verification process has multi-level checks to ensure only valid signatures are counted. Make sure you provide your phone number, and the reason is Maricopa County Elections uses to contact voters with questionable signatures. And then one other thing. Across participating jurisdictions in Maricopa County for the November 7th jurisdictional election. Voters are able to vote a replacement ballot in person if their ballot was lost or damaged. Locate the nearest in-person ballot replacement site by visiting locations Maricopa Vote until 7 p.m. Remember, until 7 p.m. And I think that was the last of it. Yeah, that was the last of the voting. So if you haven't voted, go vote. You have until 7 p.m. Watch our show. Our show is delayed, so it really doesn't matter whether I said that or not. Okay, anyway, so in the future it'll be that way, because we have an election coming up in 2023. It's going to be the same process, and I'll remind you a lot sooner than the date of the election. Okay, so today we have a fantastic guest. His name is Michael Carbone. He is a representative, Michael Carbone, for the 25th district here in Maricopa County. I'm going to say a few words about him. I was going to cut it up in half, but my co-host couldn't show up. So this is okay. Oh, also with us, we have my host from New Mexico, Alice Lara, and Zeke Rodriguez, her co-host. And sorry, Alice, I'm so into my election.
I was wondering, I thought, well, maybe we're not supposed to be here. Hi, Representative Carbone.
And I'm going to read real quick a little short bio. Michael Carbone represents Legislative District 25, which includes Yuma County and the western part of Maricopa County. It is one of the largest agricultural districts in Arizona, which produces 90% of America's leafy greens. Ooh, leafy greens, people. Leafy greens, along with being home to farming, dairy, cotton, and one of the largest egg producers in the world. I think it's Hickman. He also represents the largest nuclear reactor in the United States, which produces a majority of the state's electricity and excess power that is sold to California. We make money on that. In addition to his district, he also serves the Yuma County Proving Grounds U.S. Marine Base, which just opened a low-level launching pad, the Core Power lithium-ion battery plant, and a hydrogen plant. I'm going to let him talk more about his bio. Okay, Michael, welcome to our show. And Chipsters, we're really honored to have Michael here as a guest.
Yeah, no, George, and thank you for having me. I'm honored to be on your show. This is I've heard about it, now I'm here. So this is awesome. I love it. So, yeah. So
you're running again. So you already hold the position and you're running again for a second term. And you want to tell us about why you're doing this? I mean, it can't be the easiest job in the world, but you get a lot accomplished if you're a good good representative.
Yeah, no, it's, you don't, I've been around the politics or the political machine, if you will, for the last 20, 25 years, kind of been in every, whether it's working on campaigns, being a precinct committeeman, which is an organizational thing of the for us, the Republican Party, the GOP. I call it avocation. So I did work at, capital work, stuff like that. But being in the shoes of a legislator, the legislature or a legislator, is a totally different animal until you sit down and I remember my first legislative district meeting for the Republican organization. I showed up and I said to him, I go, y'all didn't tell me what I got myself into here, because I had a whole new respect for folks like our Congress folks up in Washington, because being away from home, and I'm only 30 minutes from my house. These folks are driving flying 7-8 hour days to get there, get set back up and then fly back another 4 to 7 or 7 hour day. It's very daunting. So, and I like to just say that let's just keep it real, because the fact of it is, from January, when you start in session, which is the second Monday of the month of January, and you're in there for 100 days at the minimum, you can get out earlier if you got everything done, but that's never happened, I don't think, in our state. And we actually had the longest session ever in our history, which we went all the way to July 31st this year. But going through January, February, March, those first 100 days, you're not home. You're not seeing your family, birthdays, holidays, all that stuff. So, it puts a different place, or puts you in a different place, I should say, but with all that, and not to be kind of, negative in that way, I love it. It's when you're there and what you're doing, and you're there to serve. You're there to serve and you're there to govern. And I think I did both of those well. My first run is for my first session. Now we're going into second session starting January.
You are Commerce Vice Chairman, Appropriations, the committees you're on, Appropriations Committee, which is a big one, Land, Agricultural, and Rural Affairs Committee, and Ways and Means Committee. Alice, do you have any questions for Mr. Carbone?
Well, welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show, sir. We appreciate you being on today. Things are a little different in New Mexico. We have as Zeke will attest to, we have a much shorter session. I moved back here about 1.5 years ago, so I'm still learning. But I know that, thank you very much for being there, because Arizona for a long time now, and especially as of late, is barely hanging on to their conservative Republican majority. Could you give us a picture of that? I mean, are we going to keep strong with that in Arizona?
No, that's a really good question. One of the reasons why I ran, when I was asked to run, and I didn't want to, but I felt I was called to do it, number one. But number two, I moved from Chicago 9 years ago, Illinois, and I left there for a darn good reason. And one, we wanted a better place for our kids, where there was opportunity, quality of life, all these great things that Arizona has in its charm. But in the 9 years or 8 years prior to me running, we're losing seats, right? To your point. we've taken it in my part of me is we've taken a little bit for granted. We've always been a red state, a very conservative state, but things are changing. But I do believe in my heart that Arizona is still a conservative state. It really is. People are fiscally conservative. They're socially conservative. We just had some lost opportunity. Some are saying we've had some, not the best candidates that are running, because characters in our candidates have to have good quality, and you have to know how to message, how to talk, and how to shift gears when you come from a primary to a general. And I don't think we've ever had to really experience that and have these actually competitions that we're seeing. So part of me thinks that's kind of part of the problem. And then the failed leadership in an organizational part, right? You need a strong leader at the state level or county level. I actually had the opportunity to chair my district for 4 years. And I think I did a very good job. The numbers show it. And then after 2020, I was so devastated because of the loss to Trump or in that race. I'm like, I just went national. What we dealt in Chicago with the vote, throughout history, going back to the 17th century, you go to New York and look at the stories there. There's always been things going on, shenanigans with our voting, right? But to me, it's a lot more things that have happened here that are just much more wider. So, however, in Chicago, as we knew how to still win. When you see precincts going 110, 120% voter turnout, yeah, I mean, It happens. You hear it now. It's new, though, to the country. But the thing is, you still can win. Is there ballot harvesting? Absolutely. You talk to independents, they'll agree if they understand what ballot harvesting is. But when we look at coming into 24, can we maintain what we have? We have a +1 in the House, +1 in the Senate, and now we have a Democrat as a governor. If we do not unite, if we do not come together and stop with these primary challenges, okay, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. We have a Shauna Bullock, okay, and I don't know her really well, but I know her, and I think she's a great gal. She's a good person. She's running for Senate. That is the key Senate race in the state of Arizona.
Shauna's pretty strong now. I don't know if you can hear me, but it looks like you stopped. There you go. It's back.
Okay. So Shauna Bullock's Senate race, and I'm only using this as an example, is the key Senate race. We win that, we'll at least hold a majority in the Senate. Well, someone primaried her. She needs to be out there hitting independent doors for the next 6 months, right? And she's not going to have the opportunity because now she has to go in the primary. They're going to battle it out, and they're going to get into the conversations. If he's not a disciplined candidate, I don't know. I don't even know who it is. I just heard this the other day that she's primaried. And I said, well, that's unfortunate because this is the key race.
What does that mean, primaried?
So primaried is when you have an incumbent. Well, you don't have to even be, you're the incumbent. So she's already there sitting as a senator. She replaced Stephen Kaiser as an appointed senator. Now there's a person that's going to run against her in the primary. So our primary election will be in August. Our general election will be in November. So the primary election is for Republicans against Republicans. The Democrat is not going to be primaried. She's moving from the House to the Senate, and she's going to be tough to beat.
Wow.
Enough. And let me tell you, the money, and I just heard this too the other day. Hollywood, did you hear about this? Hollywood, they are dumping, I think it was $50 million into the state of Arizona for races all across. Wow. Don't quote me on the number, but I just heard this. This is Hollywood, folks. They see Arizona as, again, a key battleground state nationally, not just as a swing state or other states. We are recognized. They want our state. And the thing is,
I wanted to ask you, I want to interject real quick here, Representative. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
But I heard that the independents now, used to be Republicans always had a majority of the voters, at least even a little one. And I understand that now the independents are actually the biggest group. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Yeah. So the registered Republicans, registered Democrat are the smaller groups, and the independents is the larger makeup of our voting block. You're absolutely right on that.
So instead of us fighting amongst each other, we should be going after the independents and winning their votes, and and a few Democrats that are disenfranchised by their own party. We should go after them, and we should go after them and the independents. and be strong about it. I mean, the Democrats, I mean, they outplay us. I don't know why, but
let me just put some more in perspective. You have 31 Republicans in the House. And I'll speak from my position as in the House, that chamber and in our caucus. We have 31 members. We voted 100% on the GOP platform. So on Republican bills, we all voted together 100%. Okay? Think about that. Wow. No one should be primaried. Not one person. This is my point. Leadership. So, and we're the most conservative caucus in over 25 years is what I'm told. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but this is what I'm told. Back in the 90s, we were probably the most solid when it comes to what we voted. And mind you, we saw almost 2,000 bills between the House and Senate combined, which is crazy in itself. But anyway.
So, Representative, I just had a quick comment because this is a big deal here in New Mexico, and I know that your district has the highest agricultural output almost in the world. Are you guys dealing with hardcore Green New Deal stuff over there? Because I know we are over here in New Mexico. I mean, they're getting rid of cows like crazy. I mean, we don't have any dairy industry here anymore. How is it for you over there in Arizona?
That's another good question, or good. So with the Inflation Reduction Act, right? The IRA, big billions of dollars, or actually trillions of dollars of green pushing the green, our green world here we're going with the energy and all that. Back in, I can't remember what month it was about, maybe it was in June. I think it was in June. I had to drive all the way up. A bunch of us members went up to Kingman, and they had the whole thing when Barack Obama came into Arizona, and he did some executive action for 1.1 million acres of state land, trust land. Okay. And so I'm up there, and there's I think about 24 of us came up there, senators and House members. And we're meeting with some of the folks there, people up in Utah. These were grazing lands, mind you, for centuries. We're talking well, maybe not centuries, but for third, fourth, fifth generation farmers, grazing land. And what's going to happen is, and by the way, that land also has uranium and lithium underneath it. So when you talk about that, you shut this down, and guess what they want to put in there? They don't want to allow you to graze no more. They want to put solar farms in. That's what we're told. Yeah. So to your point, I mean, I think that's a perfect example. But with our farming, our dairy, there's other issues happening economically that's affecting our dairy farmers and our ag community, which is not, could be an indirect result. I don't know if it's directly from green stuff, but just from just our economy is not good.
You guys are losing significant ground over there. I didn't mean to interrupt, but it sounds like you guys are losing significant ground over there, like we are over here in New Mexico.
I mean, yeah, your cities, you got Phoenix is big with that. Look at your makeup of you got Phoenix, right? Tucson and Flagstaff. These are blue districts. And so they're going to be more apt to be attracted to those types of deals, bringing that stuff in. What we can do in the Buckeyes and the Yumas and, those cities and communities, we as, that live there, we have an opportunity to, like, either if I was supporting that stuff, you vote me out, right? Put someone in that's against it. You got a mayor, city councils. They're actually going and bypassing legislature and going to the city councils and trying to cut deals that way. So you're seeing it, and it comes in different forms, right? But again, our communities don't understand it because they don't pay attention. That's hence the independent versus the Republican, the Democrat. Independents were. I remember my political science class 101, first one I did in college. They just want to work. They want 9 to 5. They don't care about this stuff. And then they pay attention those last 4 to 6 weeks, right? That's the deal. It's the R's and the D's. They're the educated voter. That's the educated electorate. And so it's our job to educate the independent voter. So when you're primarying people all across this state, I'm not being primaried, but I got thinking we're gonna have 7 or 8 people. I have a vacuum in mind, so I have an open seat. But leadership should be clearing that off. That's what I did when I was a chairman. And it's a tough job.
Do you say leadership in terms of your county party, or do you think state chairmen should start getting involved with these? It seems like the state chairman on both my state and in Arizona and New Mexico needs to be getting involved with stuff like that.
Well, you're absolutely right. state party, county party, and your LD. Because if the LD can't get it done, then you go to your county and put the pressure that way on these candidates. If the county can't get that done, then you bring your state party in and put the pressure. The goal is to find these folks and say, listen, I'm going to put you on school boards. I'm going to put you on city, build the bench. That's the way I was taught. It's how we do it out east. You know, and until you learn that, but now they're going to make us, you know, I would love to be helping other candidates out on the east side where we need to pick up those seats because there's going to be a lot of money coming at them. You know, the Dems, you know, they're not going to put money in my race, the Dems. They might, I don't know, but to get some trickle for the statewide races.
Well, one thing we do here is we publicly ridicule and ostracize people who try to primary. That seems to be pretty effective. We do that early on, and I've gotten pretty good at it recently because that's something that's a big issue. The primary good candidates is a huge issue. I'm so glad you brought that point up, man.
Yeah. No, hey, remember what Reagan? I was a little kid, right? But I loved Reagan because I guess my parents talked about it. But he said, you know, if we agree 70% of the time, we're winning, man. And the thing is, we're at a point where we need to agree like 99% of the time, and we're still losing because people are not happy. You know, if that makes sense to you. So.
Representative, I think you hit on a big point, you and Zeke, because somehow we're going to have to get our stuff together. The Democrats have always been a little bit better about this because they work on like the next election. I think Newt Gingrich said, Speaker Gingrich says, Democrats focus on elections, we focus on campaigns, and we need to just broaden our horizons. Wouldn't you agree?
No, you're absolutely right on that. We you know, coming, and that's why I said coming from out east, I think it helps me politically to understand things long term. You got to play long ball, and we don't do that here. It's we're young in that because we've been red for so long, we've taken it for granted, and now folks are saying, wait a minute, now you're a rhino, you're this, you're that, you're selling out on what? I have to go to my LDs and bring out. Here's the bill. Tell me where it's in the bill. I do my job. Trust me, because I want to make sure. Because I said when I don't do my job, then take me out. Because then I say I turn into a politician because I will not be a politician. I just won't. I'm there to serve, make sure, bring balance, find things how we can get things done and govern, and then also try to push our platform forward. That's my job. And if I did that wrong, tell me where I did it. And if you only can pick one thing out of 2,000, really? You follow me? Now you have your one issue votes. Do you have any Republicans saying I'm pro-choice? Those are good reasons to take people out, right? That's against our platform, and that's a big reason to take someone out. But no, when you're all voting together as a caucus and we're united, not like what we've seen, 2 years ago or 4 years ago or the 8 years I've been in here or 9 years I've been here, we voted, we did our job. And even the people I don't get along with, and they don't get along with me sometimes because we don't agree on things. And those are the outside bills. Those aren't our platform bills. They shouldn't be primaried either.
What are the ways and means?
Yeah, it's crazy to see how.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No,
it's crazy to see how common sense has been kind of getting dissolved. Because for me, seeing someone like you, Representative, who's fiery, who's transparent, who's obviously effective, and it's not hard to see people's voting record. Like how is it that people get blinded and want to primary other candidates or still want to vote for a Democrat? Because it's really easy to see someone like you and see how effective you're doing.
Yeah.
Or, it's just crazy to me how it goes over people's head. Blows my mind.
No,
No, could you talk a little bit about some of the committees that you're on? Because to be in 4 different committees, is that normal? A lot of the representatives chair that, or you chair one committee, but then you're in about 3 other committees. Yeah.
So typically on the average, there's folks who are on 3 committees. I happen to be put on 4, and I just said, I never even lobbied when, people come and ask you, what do you want to be? I say, you know what, you're the leader. You put me where I belong. Here's my resume. Here's what I'm good at. And, business, finance, all that stuff. And I think they did a heck of a job putting me where they did. But yeah, most people are on 3, and then you have your ad hoc committees and all that stuff. But I don't mind. I like to work, and it kind of brought me because I had to kind of hustle. You're always moving, which my wife doesn't like it. I like it. But she's
your wife stays home while you're out there, right?
Yeah,
with the kids, because you have 4 kids. Are they young or no?
Yeah, so I have year. And then my youngest, who just turned 14 last week, he's my youngest. And
Wow, that 14 is a.
oh yeah, he's a ball of wax. So
Is he in sports or no?
Oh yeah, yeah. So he's in. So we had our first. I coach basketball, so we had our first basketball practice yesterday, and this will be my last year coaching basketball. Because he's going into high school next year, and then it'll be my last year probably coaching baseball. And I think those days, I don't know.
Yeah, my coaching days were over when I came over to Arizona.
I love it, man.
I coached for 7 seasons, but I love coaching kids. I love telling them, hey, do good in school. You do good in school, you could play more. And
yeah,
I don't want to have to, if your parents say to bench you because you got bad grades, I'm gonna have to follow your parents' advice. So do good in school and you'll do good in sports. And I was good at it. Okay, so you guys came from Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you came here how many years ago?
It was 2014, so 9 years.
Wow. You like Arizona? You like the?
Yeah, no, we love Arizona. It's panned out because when I said earlier in the intros, we moved here for a reason. I wanted to give opportunity for my kids to have good job, go to school, college, whatever that means, and have opportunity. This state has so much opportunity for anyone that wants to work hard. You can go make a good dollar and you can be, have a great quality of life. And in here, I have 2 daughters. One's, as I said, is a nurse now. The other one to be a veterinarian, which we need desperately in this state. My oldest son, who's he's a business manager in a private school. And then my 14-year-old, he's got some time on his hands. Yeah. Maybe he'll be my baseball player, but and then my wife and I, when we came here, it was tough because we didn't have to leave. I had my company. I did consulting at that point. But we did fine. We're doing great. But do you want to be taxed as much as I was taxed? I was never home. All I did was work. And that's kind of what drove us here. Because I said, my son, who's my oldest now, 28, he was turning 18, graduating high school. And I said, where'd all the time go? It's like, all you do is work. And it was true. And it really hit me hard. So I said, this has got to stop. And so anyways, we took a few years or 2 years to look at around the country where we wanted to
like to. My son, he's in the Army now, but there were times as he was growing up that I wish I could just turn back the time and spend more time with him because I was working. I was constantly working. I mean, I work a lot now, but I was working then too. And it was crazy. I got to coach him a couple of times, but not as much as I should have. And now he's a senior drill sergeant in the Army, and he's coming to Fort Huachuca in May of next year. He'll be a senior ops commander or something. So that's awesome. He's doing good. He's moving. He's living that dream. He's got 11 years in. He's got 9 more years to go. And those times you can't turn back the clock. And it's like I keep wishing that those 9 years hurry up so they could spend some time with me because we're getting older and our kids are getting older too. And I mean, we got to enjoy the time with the family. And I know Alice, you and Mark, and then Zeke, you have a daughter, don't you? How old is your daughter, Zeke?
I do. She's 9 years old. She's about to be 10. So it's a true blessing. She looks a lot like me. It's funny.
Oh, that's good. That's
Amen,
good.
man. That's awesome.
Real quick though, guys, I want to walk it back to because I'm running for state representative myself next year, and AG Ken Paxton out of Texas, because they tried to sue him and get rid of him and everything, and he ended up winning massively. So he's on a huge campaign to recruit as many House representative candidates in Texas as possible. So he's got funding, he's got training. He's just trying.
Don't you move to Texas? You stay in New Mexico.
I ain't going to Texas. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. But I mean, it's like how awesome is it that he's doing that? On his own time and his own dime. Why can't, like, for us, New Mexico's chairman or one of our top leaders start getting a coalition together and start recruiting candidates? Why can't Arizona have messaging like, hey, we're not going to primary candidates, we're going to recruit candidates? It's so crazy to me that we're so disconnected from what we should be doing. Did you see any kind of momentum going towards AG Paxton's route in Arizona?
Unfortunately, I don't think so right now. There's too much. There was and I don't know if you all saw this, maybe George, there's a unity letter that went out about a month ago.
What's that?
It was called a unity letter, and it was out of the 15 counties, the 15 county parties, all of them signed it but one. And just imagine which one that was. And it was the largest county in the state, or sixth largest in the country, right? So until we figure those things out and stop beating each other and attacking each other, we're way behind the ball right now.
Wow.
It's amazing. You know, I'll put in perspective for you. And I just had this conversation. I don't know if you and I did, but you know, we have an election today in our state. In Maricopa County, we have the largest bonds being asked for in the history of Arizona and Maricopa County for school bonds. Okay. And I think it's like $5-something billion when you add them all up. Here's my point. The county should be educating their precincts and their LDs, whether those should be done or not should be done. The county should be putting folks into the election booth to watch, electioneers, right? Do you think we're doing any of that stuff? I brought this up to some of my PCs just a week ago, because all they're doing is talking about Constitution, this and this and this. I go, you guys are not even doing your job as a PC. That's your job. And so, you know, kind of a long-winded answer here, but that's to kind of put it in perspective. That's kind of how far off we are, I think. We have the rest of the state's doing a good job.
Okay, so it's isolated at least. You can pin it down to Maricopa County, I'm assuming you're talking about, right? I mean,
it's isolated, but it's the key races are in this county. And they're all divided up. Now, you know, and then there's a lot of us that are working behind the scenes that people don't recognize, because on my free time, we're trying to find good candidates to put in races to, you know, right now, I forget what district number it is. It's where Anthony Kern is and Kevin Payne in Ben Toma. Kevin Payne is running for state Senate. He's in the House currently. Anthony Kern's not going to run, and Ben Toma is running for now Congress, but he's termed out in the House. So we have 2 open seats in that district. And we had 2 open seats this late in the game.
Dang. Wow.
You know,
okay. Well, there's some good news, some bad news there, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll take that in consideration. We got to figure out a way to unify everybody. You know, it's like I always say this: we all need to be eating beef ribs and drinking beer together or something, because it just seems like it's hard. And for Republicans, it's hard for us to see eye to eye. It's like we agree ideologically and spiritually on a lot of things, but when it comes to having us all together in a room, we all want to start, you know, getting into a cage fight. It's wild.
Yeah.
We always seem to have a problem fighting the bigger enemy.
And it is pretty bad. I mean, even in Maricopa County, when they have their meetings, they get into infightings, and there's a lot to be discussed. I was in Maricopa County because I was a chairman of my LD for 4 years, and I remember you sitting in there.
George.
We hardly ever fought. I mean, it was we would have a disagreement, and it would be ironed out real quick. Recently, they've been having some brawls. I mean, you know, throwing phones down and smashing phones, or somebody recording somebody, and somebody bringing that person out. It's like, it's so childish what I hear, because I haven't attended the meeting, but I keep abreast of what's going on, and it's like, it's so bad. And then the county bashing the state, and then the state kind of just going over their head, and it's like, holy moly, this is an election year coming up. We got to get together. I was glad to see the MCRC did endorse President Trump. Now I was surprised for them to come out with this endorsement. I'll read part of it. It says, "Be it resolved, Maricopa County Republican Committee Executive Guidance Committee officially endorses Donald J. Trump as the Republican presidential candidate for the 2024 election." And whereas I think that was pretty good coming from the Maricopa. And I have pretty good friends in the Maricopa County. Shelby Bush is used to be our chairman. When I withdrew as chairman, she became chairman. Mm-hmm. And then she ran for second vice chair of Maricopa County, the MCRC, and she won, so she had to withdraw as chairman. So we have Steve Robertson is our chairman now. But I think he's going to run for an office too, so he's going to have to withdraw. What's
Hey,
strange
George,
is
I want to interject real quick. I want to ask you a real quick question. So I think that's great that the Maricopa County did endorse President Trump.
yes,
There was talk not that long ago that they were trying to not let President Trump even run in the state of Arizona. Has all that been resolved? Or are they still trying to do that?
yeah. Chairman DeWitt made it plain that he was going to fight tooth and nail to have President Trump's name on the ballot, but the Secretary of State announced that he wasn't going to take his name off because Donald Trump met all the qualifications of a candidate to be on the ballot. But Chairman DeWitt was still going to file papers on behalf of Donald J. Trump from in Arizona to be on the ballot. And I didn't bring that with me, but yes, he's on. It's been resolved. He's going to be on the ballot, and there are people that don't want him on the ballot. But hey, that's he deserves. He's polling ahead of everybody. They just showed the poll in 5 states, Arizona being one, that voted in Biden's.
5 out of 6. You're right.
And 5 states have him ahead of Biden, all except one, I think.
Wisconsin was the only one.
Yeah, and these are the ones that are really counted. Looks like I have to wrap it up. Darn it! See, when we have good guests, time just flies. But I hope that Michael, you come back to our show, and well, I want to just say one more thing. Today is the anniversary of that attack on Israel. So our prayers are with Israel. Our prayers are with the Israelis that are still being held by Hamas. Our prayers are with goodness versus evil. And also our prayers are hoping that these universities and colleges see a change of heart and quit doing this, because it makes us look bad as a country. We don't tolerate terrorism. We don't tolerate racism. It makes us seem like we're racist. It makes us seem like that we back Israel, that what Israel's doing is bad. But Israel's protecting itself. It's protecting its borders. I've read the past about Hamas and the Palestinians, the whole history. Everybody should read it, because Israel gave up a lot of land to them, the West Bank and Gaza, to try to give them their own state. Hamas took over the Gaza, and they've been running Gaza. So we just have to pray for a good outcome on this, that Israel gets rid of Hamas, of course, but that the Palestinians have a right to exist, but they have to vote properly in their elections and not be swayed by terrorists. I know you have a good view on that, Zeke, about the Middle East and stuff. But
yeah, I don't want to talk too much about that. I mean, it's just basically, I don't like the fact that they even let him go into that country and kill those people. Like, where was the Iron Dome? Where was their amazing world-renowned military for 7 hours?
Well, they have to answer to that. They have to answer to those, and they are
right.
They're starting to bring up reasons behind it. But no, I agree with you. They had the best intelligence around, and they allowed it to happen, and they waited so long 7 hours to respond. So yeah, they have answers, and they said that they're going to hold certain people's feet to the fire, including Netanyahu. So anyway, we do pray for the Israelis. We pray for a peaceful outcome. This being their month anniversary for that. I just wanted to mention that, and that's it. Thank you. How could they get hold of your campaign to donate? Our chipsters are very good at that, and oh
no, that's great. Thank you for that opportunity. Conservatives for Carbone.
Conservativesforcarbone.com.
Yeah, just go there and you'll come up there, and you can read more about me, about my my history, my family, my mom, and all that. But yeah, no, conservatives for Carbone.com.
Okay, and they could they have limits on donations and all that.
Yeah, the 5,300 per max out for an individual, and then obviously you can times that by 2 if you're married. And I
Nice.
take them in all sizes. So
And you can donate $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever you can afford.
yeah,
Send it his way. Send it to his campaign.
He just got the money.
And if you live in New Mexico, send them a few bucks too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Support
from
good
New
conservative.
Mexico.
yeah, you got a stallion right here. No, that's awesome. So thank you for you stepping up.
And
Oh,
thank
no.
you.
We need more warriors.
And he would.
Yes, sir.
And
Good.
also, I wanted to say Happy Veterans Day coming up to all the veterans.
Mhm.
I wasn't a veteran.
Right.
My son isn't a veteran yet. He's serving, but he's not a veteran. He'll be a veteran. And I don't know. Did you serve or no?
No, I didn't. no.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't serve. My son is serving. I'm very proud of him, and he's making us proud. And my granddaughter, she's in the Coast Guard, 9 years also. No, 10 years, and my son has 11 years. So they're doing good. They're serving our country. So we'll see you next week. We're gonna have a very a good program. Alice, you want to say a few words before we sign off?
I just want to thank you for letting us be on the Chips and Salsa Show Arizona. I know we don't always get to all of us be on, but we're going to be trying to do that more and more. It was great to meet you again. I think I met you before, Representative
Yes.
Carbone. Appreciate it very much. Hope we can do that again. Maybe sometime you can come on our show too. We can share little state secrets, right?
Yes,
Sure.
yes. It's always an honor to be a down-to-earth freedom fighter. You're an inspiration, man. Keep it up. I'll be praying for you guys out there in Arizona. Love the
Thank you.
energy that comes out of Arizona. Even though it's all tumultuous like it is here, you guys have the spark, that fire of God over there. And I'm in honor and awe of it when I meet you guys, always.
We'll use it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
So thank you for joining us, Alice, Zeke, and Michael. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you again.
Yeah.
Right before your next victory, or election. But have a nice election. Good luck on your election. Come back and see us again,
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and we'll invite you again. Maybe we'll have Sid over here, and he could pepper
Yeah.
a question.
Where are you,
Yeah.
man?
Sid is the one that put us in contact. Well, anyway,
All right.
tune in our next show, and don't leave your pets in the car. Don't leave your kids in the car. Watch your kids around water, and have a blessed day today. And don't forget to vote. Oh, well, I'm messed up
Rock
on that. Okay, thank you.
Hey, guys.
Bye.